What is up, Warshippers? SeaRaptor here, bringing you a first look at Tier 6 Premium Italian Destroyer, Leone. Now, this is the first destroyer we've seen come into the game from the Regia Marina, so we're not really sure what they're going to do with the eventual Italian destroyer line. We assume there'll eventually be one. But until then, this is what we've got to try and figure out where they think they're going to go. So let's have a check. Starting off with hit points, 13.7, nothing fancy there. Puts her squarely in the middle of the pack for the tier. 16 millimeters of armor throughout. Again, nothing fancy or surprising. Artillery is where we start to note some interesting characteristics. We have 4 double turrets here. These are 120 millimeter guns. These kind of open side-by-side barrels remind you of Tier 4 American destroyer Clemson a little bit. They're just kind of out here in the open. They have an 8.5-second reload, which is very, very long, very slow for the tier, even slower than some of the Japanese destroyers that she's going to come up against. So this seems to be more about the alpha damage, the shock and awe of having all of those shells come in and hammer you. The AP shell damage is really not that great. Overall, her HE DPM is pretty solid, but the AP DPM is terrible. The Torpedoes, too, are an unusual item. For starters, she only has 2 double turrets. For Tier 6, that is pretty odd. We're used to seeing this in Tier 3 and 4, but by this time we're used to seeing, triples and quadruples mounted centerline. Only doubles here. And then, even more odd, she has, look at the range on these Torpedoes, 12 kilometers. So they reload quickly, 60 seconds, but they have a 12-kilometer range for a fairly mediocre hit, 13,500. They almost remind you a little bit of the Tier 7 torpedoes you get on the long-range torpedoes on Sims, one tier up, over in the premium American line. A defense is about what you'd expect. Harsh language, nothing really worth talking about here. Maneuverability seems decent. She is the slowest Tier 6 destroyer, but the Italian ships in the game up to this point have had pretty good maneuverability, so we have reason to expect that Leone will as well. Concealment-wise, when she's fully rigged for stealth, she'll be 6.3. That puts her a smidge on the high end, but not outrageous. I think the high end is still Farragut at like 6.6, but 6.3 puts her in the middle of the pack. She'll have fairly average detection for the tier. Standard consumables, I mean, we're talking about DCP, smoke, and engine boost, nothing fancy. The smoke is a little weird. It's a little shorter than we're used to seeing, perhaps, at this tier. Only 69 seconds for the smoke screen activation time there, but it's definitely going to give her some time to flex those guns if she decides she needs to. Overall, she's a very interesting mix. Like, her guns and stealth give her the ability to be a bit of a bully if she wants to, and the long-range torpedoes give her the ability to really just spam and harass capital ships if she gets the chance. Right now, she looks like a pretty average, serviceable mid-tier destroyer, and I guess we'll just have to see once we can get our hands on her, take her out in the game, how she handles and how she stacks up to the competition. Thanks for watching. I should have a few more of these videos up over the course of the weekend, highlighting some of these ships that are coming out in 7.12 for us to test, and we'll see you guys next time.